Hi there, thank you for joining me in this demonstration of how to create chart dependencies. I'm going to make an assumption that you probably already know how to create a custom reporting page using the fast custom page builder, and that so I'm not going to cover any of those features. I'm just going to jump right into how to set up the chart dependencies and try to explain a little bit of how they work and what they're used for. In order to start with, I'm going to use a custom reporting page that I built quite quickly to demonstrate this feature, and I'm going to show you what it looks like with no chart dependencies created. So in order to do that, I'm just going to select a chart from the drop-down list. I'm going to come over here and select a fund filter, and you'll notice that when I go to search for a fund, it's now asking me to select a chart. Even though I've got a chart set over here, the fund filter has no idea what's going on in the chart, so it's asking me to pick one here as well, which is fine. I can come in here and I can select a fund. I can do the same thing with org. Once again, I have to select a chart. And we'll do the same with accounting fields. Select my charts. I select a couple of accounting codes with our program codes. And you'll notice here, as I was doing that, it would actually let me mix different charts here, which may not always be a good thing for an end user to do. Select some account activity fields and maybe some location fields. Okay. Now if I come over here and I select a different chart, you'll notice that all of these filter options remain even after I change my chart, even though that all of these were picked for chart 1. So if I execute this report, I'm going to be limiting to chart C, but all my GL coding is from chart 1. So the results are going to be either nothing or mixed and inaccurate at best, and probably confuse an end user. So what we've done is we've allowed you to enforce what we call chart dependency, which will actually tie the value selected in this chart control to all of the other values in your GL strings. Okay. In order to do that, I'm going to come back to queries and I'm going to go to my page manager. I'm going to select test page that we're using. So my dependency, I'm going to edit this. I'm going to come over here and select chart dependency and edit that option. Set to none. I'm going to say I want to use a chart dependency. If in your SQL query that you've bound to your reporting page, if you don't have a field labeled as chart, you may need to select whatever field it is that represents chart in your query and make sure it's selected there, and then bind any of the other accounting or GL fields that you want to be tied to the value selected in your chart. Okay, so I'm going to save that. I'm now going to go back to my dependency example. I'm going to select a chart. I'm now going to go select a fund, and you'll notice that right away it's taking me into only those funds that are available for chart 1. Okay, so I don't have to select a chart anymore. I can just select the funds that I want. It'll do the same thing with the orgs. So right now we're already into chart 1, so we don't have to select anything. We'll just select the org code or the hierarchy level that we want. Same thing with account codes. Programs will be tied here. And not quite as obvious, but the activity and the location fields will also be limited to only those items that pertain to chart 1. Okay? So now if I come over here and I change my chart filter, you'll notice that wiped out all of the coding blocks, all the coding values that I had selected in my filter blocks, because all of those were tied to chart 1, and we're now filtering for chart C. Okay, so that's all there is to it, to how to set up a chart dependency. You can do that on the first pass through in your page wizard, but if you forget to do that, you can always come back like I did to the manage page, edit that feature, set up your dependencies, and it should make life a whole lot easier and more straightforward for your end users. Thank you very much for taking the time out to learn about chart dependencies. I hope it was useful, and hope to hear from you soon.